Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let me see who was here first. Uh, Fancy, fancy. Thank you so much for being here first. I wonder what that does. It says show comments on center stage. I wonder what that means. Let me see. Oh, that's what that. Can you guys see that too? Can you all see that? Or am I the only one who could see it? Shut the front door. I didn't know that that's what that did. I've been trying to figure it out, but I had no idea. Now let me see. I'm gonna go. Uh, yes, I had no idea that that's what that did. I tell you, they keep changing stuff, right? And some changes are just like, mm, and then other changes, I'm just like, okay, that makes sense. That really makes sense. And this is one of them. Okay, I am going to give them credit for this one. I kind of like it. I'm not going to use it, but I kind of like it. Huh. So if I do this, all right, but I cannot highlight. I can't highlight the comments if I go widescreen. Okay, now that we know what it does, let's get rid of it. Interesting, interesting. You know, one thing about software is that it is constantly evolving. And this is why your old computers slow down, is because they need more, innards to keep up with the technology. LDSW, thank you so much. It's been a while, haven't it? Yeah, it's been a while. Okay. Um, what am I doing here? Oh, that's it. I got to bring the slides up. Okay, well, I'll just say hi to everybody as I go along. Um, you won't believe it. I went out for lunch today. Yes, I was invited out to lunch and I went. And I had a really nice time. The food was good. The company was great. Yeah, it was someone from my old neighborhood, and we haven't hung out in years, I suppose. And it was really nice. It was really nice, and I'm gonna have to do that again real soon. Gonna have to do that again very soon. Hi, Hazel Jones. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So there's Meghan on the beach, feeling free. Um, and maybe it's Montecito, maybe it's not. But the Duchess of Sussex, what does it say there? And other, let me see, as ever. Oh, I think she liked her own thing here. Oh no, you know what? That wasn't her. That's another Sussex. What do you call it? Elaine Parker. Hey, Elaine Parker. Thank you for being awake right now. Oh, I guess it's 6 a.m. over there, right? It's just about 6 a.m. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Um, so yeah, anyway, so excited for all the good to come. Running into the weekend like water, running like water. Anyway, you guys, our Duchess has been teasing us for a while that there are some big things to come. So at least we know we have something special to look forward to, something exciting. And oh, wait a minute. Her gala is on the 14th. And you know what else is on the 14th? Troop in the Colors. Yeah, Troop in the Colors on the 14th. The official celebration of Charles III's birthday. Even though his birthday is in November, the sovereign actually celebrates their birthday. Um, the what is it? The middle of June or something like that. Um, Also in the United States, it is Flag Day, and then the 15th is Father's Day, or as they say in Germany, Father's Day. Um, oh wow! And the 19th is Juneteenth, and of course, it is Pride all month. The month of June it is Pride Month, and yeah, it's just so many things happening in June. And if you happen to be of Puerto Rican descent and you happen to be in Chicago, oh gosh, was it today? I think it was today, maybe. I don't know what day it is, but anyway, the Puerto Rican Pride is in June. So maybe it was this Saturday, maybe it's next Saturday. I really don't recall, but um, yeah, that's coming up. So yeah, it's a bunch of stuff this month. I tell you, as we emerge from the winter into spring and then finally summer, the northern cities and states and everything really come alive. It's like it makes it almost worth enduring those winters so that you can enjoy those summers. Or you can go to Cancun where it's always summer. They don't have a season there. The only season they have is summer. Always beautiful there. Hello, Maurice Brown, Nolothando, Niandini. Thank you for being here. Lydia Washington, Poliver Girl, Connie Palmer. And who else is here? Ania Paul. Let's see here. There we go. I'm going to pin this to the top of the chat. The People's Duchess. There you go. That is another Sussex friendly space where I always advise you all to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Let's grow our community by sharing. Sharing is caring. Or is it caring is sharing? Sharing is caring. Yeah, okay. I saw this tweet earlier and I could not help but share it with you because I loved it so much. Imagine time. Yeah, it's imagine time traveling to France or Spain centuries ago and telling them that one day the greatest threat to the British royal family would be a self made Black mixed woman who makes her own jam. Who would have thought that 1,000-year-old institution, a reigning royal family in in what used to be the largest empire the world has ever known, imagine that it could be taken down by an educated Black woman. I tell you, didn't see that one coming, did we? Just think if the king of Spain would have known that that was coming, he could have saved all that money and all those ships by avoiding the Great Spanish Armada, the largest naval event in history, the Spanish Armada, where they were destined to invade England. Just think if they would have been successful, um, we would be speaking Spanish right now. Not that I actually speak English right now, but we would be speaking Spanish. Isn't that something? Ole. That's not racist, is it? Anyway, but yeah, who would have known that this known subversive with her homemade preserves could take down the world's greatest empire the world has ever known? Huh? I mean, what's in that jam? Fresh raspberries? You tell them, People's Duchess. Our Duchess does not rush. We will sell no preserves before it's deserved. No, that's not right. You know, I'm trying to do that thing. Paul Masson will sell no wine before it's time. So, as ever preserves, we'll sell no jam. Uh, I don't. I can't come up with nothing for that. No wonder I'm a terrible songwriter. Winsome Jones, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here on Royal Sussex. Oh, it's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. Well, what do you know? The Magic Kingdom. Um, you guys, this has been a PR stroke of genius. Not only did Meghan practically break the internet with the posting of the hospital video, the you know, the what do you call it, baby mama dance. Then, of course, it was the Disney that is driving people bonkers. Well, I shouldn't call them people; they're trolls. They're royal rodents, but it's driving them crazy. I mean, they are just uh, at a loss. They don't know what to do. How brilliant was that? The thing is, Megan is back on social media. And so they could come up with these theories about how she's trying to sabotage the royals or whatever they want to call it. But the point of social media is that you share with your followers, and she's sharing. She's back where she ought to be. She's back to where she is enjoying her life and sharing her joy with the people that follow her. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to see her in her joy, to see the family in their joy. And they have gotten away time and time again with saying how Harry looks so sad and so broken and so downtrodden and such. And well, then we see Harry enjoying the fruits of his labor. We see Harry enjoying his family. He's got a superstar of a wife. He has those beautiful children. He lives in the palatial home, and he's needed. He's wanted and he's needed. And there's a lot of people who may not feel job satisfaction, but and that's very unfortunate. I've had those jobs myself where I'm just like, what am I doing here? This is not what I want to do. Well, Harry is making a difference in this world, which is why they never speak of Travelers. They don't like to speak of his success, but once they manage to push some saboteur in there, then they start singing like Aretha Franklin. They just won't shut up. But he's a success. He's left that institution and he's been a success. And yet they struggle to make that family the cautionary tale. They want to sabotage them so that they could use that as a warning to all the other royals. If you try to leave the firm, you'll never know a day's peace. You'll never be happy. And yet there's Harry smiling from ear to ear. There's Meghan smiling from ear to ear. And those beautiful kids. Even Doria is out there with all these friends that she's known for years. She's made some new friends. She's going on with her life. With her, what is it? Does she have a master's in social work? She's going on with her life. The only people that are bitter, the only people that are angry, the only people that are sad and depressed are the left behind royals. And they wouldn't be if they just get over it and leave all that stuff alone. All of the plotting and scheming. Look at there. This is a local television station in Philadelphia, one of thousands, I'm sure, across the United States. And all of them found a happy story to report. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry give daughter Elizabeth royal treatment with Disneyland birthday trip. When's the last time you heard them announce that some celebrity or public figure has gone to Disneyland? About the most we ever hear of it is because of the famous, now that you've won the Super Bowl, what are you going to do? I'm going to Disney World. That's about the only time we hear about it. Until this week. There's NBC 10 Philadelphia reporting on it. Princess Elizabeth Diana got to rule over the happiest place on earth. Meghan and Harry took their kids, Lilibet and Archie, to Disneyland for their daughter's 4th birthday. This was big news. And in spite of everything going on in this world, they wanted something happy and positive to discuss. So they talked about this. And the other thing they talked about was the baby mama video. And so far, the ones that I've seen, especially the US News, they tell it just like it is. After eating spicy food, after all of the other stuff, they resorted to the baby's mama dance to bring on labor. They tell it just like it is. As well they should. As well they should. We shouldn't have to be shocked or amazed. We shouldn't even notice that the press has done their job. And then, of course, they have even been let down by some of the right-wing press. They've actually been let down by some of their own press who have, again, reported things just as it is, not as shady people want it to be, but they have told the story as it's supposed to be told. You know, and we should not have to do cartwheels in celebration of them doing their jobs. It should be expected, not an exception. but I'm glad they are. So pretty much, I don't I don't want to resort to calling it a competition, but pretty much Meghan and company, Meghan and her family, have won the week. They have won this week as far as the media is concerned. And even though it started off, you know, exciting, but I'm sure a lot of people were nervous because, as you know, the press sometimes can spin things out of proportion. And we're wondering, okay, are they going to try to, trash her about this video, right? Well, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And least of all, not to the degree that I'm sure a lot of people expected. So I want you to take a look at this. Um, Let me grab a slide here. Okay. There you go. So Fox and Friends. Oh, the quality of that photo is I do apologize for that. But, Fox and Friends, they, talked about the dance. Meghan Markle going viral for pregnancy dance video. Now, while I cannot play the video for you, you understand, I will definitely this is better. There we go, that's better. Even though I cannot play the video, I will definitely play the soundbite. Let me get that queued up for you, and then we will discuss on the other side. I think it's only 30 seconds long, so, I make it sound like it's, um, longer than that, but, let me see here. Mm, oh, okay. Fox and Friends or whatever you call yourselves, do what you do.
Very good. To the pregnant woman? Yeah. Time to get up and twerk, guys. Bring me Todd Pyro as a dance partner. Look, people are criticizing Meghan Markle for this. I actually, and I'm not a big Meghan Markle fan, I think this is funny. I think it's endearing. I like to see this. And let me do a Fox News alert here for those who are criticizing her. You are pregnant. You are not dead. Okay. So I run in the mornings and people are like, how do you run when you're pregnant? You can run when you're pregnant. You can dance when you're pregnant. She's dancing just before giving birth. Women are amazing. They do amazing things. I love this. I'm going to send you guys a twerking video from the hospital in just a few weeks. Play it live on air. I'm not actually going to do that because I don't have that kind of talent. You have it. I don't twerk in the mirror, but I do run. So.
I'm not going to criticize a pregnant woman on this show. I can't even believe you brought me into this discussion. I will say that let me go after it. It's Harry, right? Harry's the one in there.
Yeah.
What a dork. Harry comes in, he keeps getting in the way of the video. He's like, I want to be in this video. He reminds me of like the guy, get up on the dance floor. He doesn't really want to dance, but he's trying.
Oh, very good. To the pregnant, very good. To the pregnant one.
Okay. So, as you can see, the lady in pink, she's the one that's pregnant, and she has promised that she's going to have a twerking video for them to share on Fox News. We'll wait for it. So yeah, that has backfired. All of the criticism about that video, that vile video, has totally backfired. And I believe that there are more people who find it very touching and very endearing. There are those very prudish people that say that's not how a duchess behaves. I think most people have taken that into consideration and decided, so what? So, and what is your point? That is how that particular duchess behaves. And as I said, I know there are some squatties that are just not comfortable with it, right? what's more important, your discomfort or Meghan's confidence to put it out there instead of worrying about what people think, worrying about how this is going to land? What are the royal rodents going to say about me? It is a relief that she can do that. It is a relief. And Harry, you guys remember how Harry was. Harry was like, oh, Meg, don't do this. Meghan said, you know, when they were still over there, Harry was so duty bound, as well he should have been, because that was his life. And Harry does a thorough job, whatever he does. So he was being himself. He was being a good soldier. But the fact that he was able to enjoy it, knowing that this video is going out there, even juggling from the window, things that he would have never done in his past life. And every day they are freer than the day before. Every day they can breathe freer. And I cannot help but think or believe that the children will benefit from the fact that their parents are not living in fear, that their parents are not worried about what people think or what people say. That has got to be beneficial for the children. Because an uptight parent is an angry parent, is an anxious parent, is not necessarily the most fun parent. A parent that is secure and comfortable in their own skin, that is going to transfer to the children. The children will grow up knowing that, yes, we are royal, but we can also have fun and be silly. We can do things just like everybody else. In other words, we can enjoy this life. We don't have to live as though we owe an explanation to everyone. We don't have to explain ourselves to everyone or anyone. The only people that's the most important is our family, the family unit. And you know how much Harry loves a team. He loves teamwork. And of course, both Sussexes are very much into building a team to add or enhance the strengths that people already have. That's what they have been doing. That is their mission, is to help people be their best selves. So I tell you, I have gotten so much out of this week, and it's not so much, just the joy of seeing them enjoy themselves, but for me, it's knowing that they know that they can enjoy themselves, that they're free to enjoy themselves, free to live their life without worrying about what someone else is going to think. So win-win, win-win. Now, of course, luxury business guru, she had a thing to say about this. Let me see. Oh, sorry, not that one. Let me find her here. Okay, buffer. We're buffering. Let me try it again.
So you mean to tell me that Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lily were at the most popular family destination on earth and no one saw them? That's not luck. That is power, and that is planning. Privacy is possible. You just have to want it more than press clout. And obviously, none of this was leaked until Meghan decided to share on her own Instagram. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the very definition of privacy when you share things on your own terms. Privacy doesn't mean that you're never heard of, that you have to disappear. I've got to give it to Harry and Meghan. Very well done. And it looks like Archie and Lily had an amazing time. So you mean to tell me that Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lily...
Okay, sorry about that. It started to repeat. What? Hey, hit that like button. How do you think we keep the lights on here? How do you think we keep the lights on? Please hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything. However, I do welcome you all to please get a membership for just $4.99 for the price of a cup of coffee. You can help support this channel. $4.99 a month. They don't take it every day, just once a month can help support this channel. So yeah, please hit that like button. 200 likes with 700 people present. That's not cool. That's a scandal. Anyway, but there you have it. Thank goodness they were able to own this week. That means so much that they're free. They are free. Okay. And I'm going to post that. Thank you so much. Where are we here? Yeah, that is the link for the membership here on the top of the chat. See there? $4.99 a month. You can help support this channel. Okay. What's next here? Oh, check it out. Clara. Oh, good grief. I cannot see that. Oh, Clara James. That is what she's wearing. Clara James. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because that is what Princess Lilibet is wearing. You see there? Colorful bow dress. Isn't that pretty? I love that as much as I love the popsicle dress. And I thought the popsicle dress was a lot of fun, but that is pretty cool as well. Let me see. What day was the popsicle dress? That was her birthday, right? Yes, it was her birthday, the popsicle dress. Meghan finds the cutest, most sustainable stuff for her family. Okay, here's the popsicle dress. See that? How adorable is that? And I was thinking, what can Meghan do that can beat that popsicle dress? I think we got a winner. What says a little girl better than a bunch of bowls? Huh? I'd like to know. That is absolutely adorable. Lilibet Diana, that is adorable. Don't you love it? And if you notice, except for the sleeves, it kind of reminds you of the dresses that the bridesmaids wore. Remember that? The little flower girl bridesmaid, how it had that loose fit. Kind of reminds you of that. I know. I just love those kids. Marie Fabian, thank you so much for joining us. I see you there. Yes, she's going to have that sense of taste and flair, just like Mom, with an eye toward the sustainable, of course. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Yes, I love it. Okay. And oh Lord, what did I just do? Okay. Yeah, so let me see if I can focus in on that. Can I focus on that? Okay. it has a little caption here from, is that the clothing store? Little Moon, Little Mooney? Is that where it came from? I thought the other one was the name. Maybe that's the store and the name of, well, anyway, it says, let me see if this sheds some light on that. Lily wore 2 sweet summer dresses, notably from 2 small family-friendly brands. Oh, you know what? Those are 2 different dresses. You see that? Because they were there for 2 days, right? They were there for 2 days. So you have the bow dress on the top left, and then also to the left, but on the right side of the picture, I cannot make that out. I don't know what the yellow is, but yeah, I'm not sure what the yellow is, but it says it includes one of Angel Deere Inc., a California-based company known for its ultra-soft fabric and timeless children's wear, and Little Mooney NY? Is that Little Mooney, New York? A woman-owned brand based in New York. Oh, there you go. Based in New York City that focuses on ethically made organic cotton clothing for kids. As I said, Meghan always chooses sustainability or sustainable, meaning that the fabrics are not filled with what do you call it? Synthetic materials. The thing is, for practically the same price, and believe me, if it's not synthetic blend, then it's all, natural fibers. The prices do not vary much, but the point is that the clothes will degrade if they go into the landfill. That's the whole point of it, is that when I say Meghan wears sustainable clothing, that means Meghan usually chooses the natural fibers, because the synthetic fibers, well, they are hazardous to the environment. The thing is, if consumers demand sustainable clothing, eventually the price will lower over time if that is what the public demands. But if it remains rare or, not as prevalent as the other kind of fibers, then of course, the manufacturers will still take the easy way out. So Meghan is very, very much into the environment, but she doesn't preach. She just quietly goes about her business, and she finds companies that are women owned in most cases. And she also finds products that are made with natural fibers. So that is our Meghan, always thinking about the environment, always thinking about what's best for everyone, not just her family. Okay, check out the headlines here. Harry and Meghan's Disney dream for Lilibet. And that is the Sunday Express. And then check out the Sunday Mirror. Harry and Meghan's mini break. Get it? Like Minnie Mouse, mini break. But yeah, that is also carried there. Wait a minute. Where's the rest of the unroyal family? Wow, they got David Attenborough. And they don't have those other people? My. See what I mean? Somebody has won the weekend, has won the week in the press. And I hate to say it like that because it sounds like they're being petty. Remember, these are my words, not theirs. My words, not Meghan's. And then here, look who's making some money off of the person that they have vilified. The Daily Fail. Meghan posts sultry beach pic as social media blitz rages after twerking debacle. You know what? I could actually laugh at that because even though they are, you know, making their money, it's driving the social media. I mean, notice it says recent Instagram posts. Well, let me see. Where is Meghan with Instagram right now? 3.6 million? I'll take it. 3.6 million. And that is about 600,000 more followers than where we started this week. So, okay, I'll take it. Long as they don't forget to say Instagram. Meghan Markle's social media blitz continues as Duchess of Sussex shares beach snap hours after posting Disneyland trip with Harry. And then, of course, Defiant Duchess inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Disney trip that could, we have to talk about. I thought the British didn't like to talk about money. That could set you back up to 5,000, including their controversial snack choice. Oh my goodness, the controversial snack choice. Okay. I did not read these articles. I actually grabbed these from the social media because, you already know what's in it. But I was just amused at how much coverage that it has received. Now, if this was Harry in China, it would be barely a mention about it. Corn dogs and pickles. Corn dogs and pickles. Controversial snack choice. Poliva Girl became wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. I love it. And I love you. Here you go. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I am so touched by that. As a matter of fact, I am available to dance in the streets. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, I love this. Okay, is it the corn dog or the pickle that has caused a natural disaster, war, or famine somewhere? I'm gonna say it was probably the corn dogs because they probably used some labor force that is controversial to roll those hot dogs in the corn batter. That is probably where it gets kind of dodgy. Or by buying pickles, those pickles took those buckets away from those young men that sit on the corner and beat those pickle buckets, maybe Disney neglects to throw out the buckets. Maybe they destroy them, thus causing a loss of revenue for the pickle bucket players. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Tangerine Squeeze, I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something. So I'm still on the fence. I can't decide pickle or corn dog or both. But natural disaster, those corn dogs have those little wooden sticks. So that means deforestation. Woo! And of course, war. Well, people fight over who gets to dip the corn dog in the batter. So there's your war right there. And famine. Like I said, those kids that play those pickle buckets can't get to those buckets because they're all being held at Disneyland. So they can't afford to feed their families. So there you go. You got your natural disaster. Deforestation causes floods. Fighting over dipping the corn dog causes war. And those kids beating on those pickle buckets means that they can't feed their family if they don't have the buckets. Yeah, I knew I would solve this. I knew I would solve it. So the thing is, I'm very disappointed with the theme park, not the Duchess. There's no way they could have known. But that won't stop the tabloid media for So next time you see mass deforestation, think about those corn dogs. Think about those corn dogs. Don't think of furniture or housing or any of that stuff. Think corn dog. Oh, we love him, right? What is his name? The notorious JTB. Yeah, he's always got some good stuff. Let me see what he's got for us this time. Oh, well, you know what? There it is.
They don't believe people can be kind without a hidden agenda. They don't believe in joy unless it's drenched in sarcasm. They walk through life with this gray, cynical filter over everything. And when they see someone like Meghan, who's bright, hopeful, audacious enough to heal out loud, it triggers something in them because it reminds them of a version of themselves they were taught to suppress. She's not fake, she's free. And bitter people, they don't know what to do with someone who's free. Now, contrast that with people who love Meghan. These are people who are actively working on themselves, who want to grow, who want to be happy. They journal, they go to therapy. They actually believe in evolving and breaking generational curses. They see Meghan not as perfect, but as someone trying to live honestly, to protect her peace, to be joyful, even if it makes others uncomfortable. You know what's truly insufferable? Walking around with that much unprocessed resentment that someone else's happiness feels like a personal attack. That's what Meghan haters are really carrying. So the next time someone calls her insufferable, ask yourself, is she really insufferable? Or are they just too bitter seeing someone living unbothered? Sometimes I can't stand her is just code for she makes me feel small and I don't know why. They don't believe people can be kind without a hidden agenda. They don't believe in joy.
Okay.
Sorry.
Siri, what time is it in London? Okay, now you don't feel like talking. All right. That was Siri that said sorry. All right. Don't you love that explanation that he gave? Was that on point or what? I mean, I kind of feel like we should listen to it again. Yeah, I think we should. We should listen to that again. Oh my goodness, that was fantastic. One more time. One more time. She makes people feel small and they don't know why.
They don't believe people can be kind without a hidden agenda. They don't believe in joy unless it's drenched in sarcasm. They walk through life with this gray, cynical filter over everything. And when they see someone like Meghan, who's bright, hopeful, audacious enough to heal out loud, it triggers something in them because it reminds them of a version of themselves they were taught to suppress. She's not fake, she's free. And bitter people, they don't know what to do with someone who's free. Now, contrast that with people who love Meghan. These are people who are actively working on themselves, who want to grow, who want to be happy. They journal, they go to therapy. They actually believe in evolving and breaking generational curses. They see Meghan not as perfect, but as someone trying to live honestly, to protect her peace, to be joyful, even if it makes others uncomfortable. You know what's truly insufferable? Walking around with that much unprocessed resentment that someone else's happiness feels like a personal attack. That's what Meghan haters are really carrying. So the next time someone calls her insufferable, ask yourself, is she really insufferable? Or are they just too bitter seeing someone living unbothered? Sometimes I can't stand her is just code for she makes me feel small and I don't know why. They don't believe people can be kind without it.
That is powerful. That is powerful. She makes me feel small and I don't know why. I think for some people, we know the answer is clear, and that is Harry chose the brilliant, empowered, thriving, beautiful, humanitarian, mixed race black girl from the US and not them. That's what the hang up is. That's their problem. Oh, I tell you, that was powerful. I don't know where this guy went to school. I don't know how he comes up with this stuff, but that was absolutely brilliant. Wow. I mean, this guy can write an editorial better than anybody I know. That is so impressive, powerful. And there are some great people on the TikTok, but this guy consistently knocks it out the park. So that is a baseball metaphor, by the way. Okay. Bum bum bum. Melinda Messenger categorically shuts down Vanessa Felt's pathetic attempt to slander and belittle Harry and Meghan. And by the way, thank you to the squatty that posted all of these. Yeah, let's just get into it, shall we? Let's get into it. Mm.
Right to live as they.
Okay, here we go.
It's their right to live as they choose. Other people don't have to like it. Other people might cringe and think, well, I wouldn't do that. And that's totally fine. But it's also totally fine for them to show, you know, moments where, yeah, they're joyful. And that's just kind of really human. And they, you know, bear in mind they've kind of come out of a kind of an industry, if you like, that's very impersonal and kind of dehumanizing in many ways. And so,
By which you mean the royal family?
yes,
Right.
you know, and everything that entails, the kind of whole industry, all the speculation being written about and judged and condemned by all sorts of different people, you know, that's massive.
And also writing a book yourself in which you judge and condemn your entire family and then selling it.
Well, then that comes down to who's got the right to tell their own story. You know, does the person, the individual, have their right to say their own truth, their own story, or does that right not belong to them, but it does belong to everybody else? You know, it's their right to live as they choose. Other people don't have to like it. Other people might cringe and think, well, I wouldn't do that. That's totally fine.
That is such a great point. That is such a great point. It really comes down to who has the right to tell their story. Princess Diana has been silenced. However it happened, Princess Diana has been silenced. And Diana tried to tell her story. And I'm pretty sure that had she survived, she'd have told even more of the story. But there was no social media back in those days. There was no Diana Squad back in those days. There was very little help for her because her children were in the United Kingdom. She could never go too far for too long. And she just never had a chance to tell her story. And now, thanks to Peter Morgan and his disgusting portrayal of Diana in The Crown, among other projects out there, and numerous documentaries, books, and these so-called royal experts, now they're telling the palace's version of Diana's story. And I do hope that someday that Harry can tell Diana's story, that someone of authority can tell her story again, so that we're all listening the next time and not distracted with that nonsense with The Crown and other projects. But it comes down to who has the right to tell your story. Who can tell your story better than you can? And the best evidence that you and you alone should speak your truth is the fastest selling non-fiction book in history, Spare. The fastest selling non-history book, Guinness Book of World Records winner, fastest selling non-fiction book, Spare. And as much as they tried to tear it down, as much as they yelled, I'm not reading that, we still don't know what the if they're going to make it into a movie or not, or a miniseries. We don't know. But as we've learned from The Crown, those dramatizations are very powerful. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that wrote Diana and reached out to her. I'm very sure of that. Yeah, that gives me comfort to hear that. Well, we'll see. We'll see. The Sussexes are more than capable of telling their story. They have recorded and written plenty of material that will be available in the future for their story. So They've kept the timeline. And when the time is right, I cannot wait to hear more of what Harry has to say. And of course, we all know that when Meghan tells her side of things, that it is going to be epic. It is going to be epic. Meghan's own voice about her experience with that institution. Barbara Richardson, thank you so much for being a member, and thank you for the super sticker. Oh my goodness, this hot mess. Soft launch, where is Kate? Who was in the car crash? You know, that is a very good question. That is a very good question. We don't really have any evidence that whoever was whisked down the street and nailed that poor old lady that was at the crosswalk. We're assuming that that as the palace said, it was Sophie with that big motorcade. But what if it wasn't? What if it wasn't? What if it was someone else who needed protection? And since Harry and Meghan were not in the UK, maybe they decided to throw that protection, or should I say, throw the blame at someone else, right? To invoke someone else's name. I mean, picture it. There's a memorial during the global pandemic when we were supposed to social distance. They had a memorial for Sarah Everhart, right? And it was against the standing police order or city ordinance or whatever it was. People were not supposed to gather in mass, but they did, including the Duchess of Cambridge, who joined the mass of people and neglected to put on her face mask, which is a double no-no. So they could not allow her name to be used on the police report. So what did they do? They used Meghan's name. Do you get where I'm going with this? Do I have to draw a picture? Do I have to sing it out loud? Do I? Or do you just know what I'm trying to say? That maybe it wasn't the Duchess of Edinburgh, who at the time I think was still Countess Sophie Wessex. Maybe it was another Duchess in the vehicle. Maybe. And then again, it may have been a Duke in the vehicle. It could have been a Duke and not a Duchess that they used Sophie to cover up. Because it seems like since that day, Sophie, well, you know what? Maybe it's happened before that day, but look at who Sophie's cozying up to. Look at who she's cozying up to. Just food for thought, that's all. It's all alleged possibilities. Anna Boyd, thank you so much for the super sticker. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Wow, that was very butch, wasn't it? Royal Sussex. But yes, thank you so much for that. Okay, so let's get to Martin of Ministry of Hacks, and let's see what he has to say. And remember, all of these people are available on TikTok. Okay, Martin, Ministry of Hacks.
Morning, friends. Happy Saturday. How are you doing? And what's going on here? Is this some sort of crazy soft launch for William and Sophie? Mad as it seems, wait to the end of the video. You'll find out more. Whatever's going on here, Sophie is definitely being pushed to the front of the royal work, if you can call it work. This was yesterday, her with William in Cornwall. Firstly, where is Kate? We know Kate's been on at least 3 foreign holidays this year, one of which was physically demanding skiing. If she's well enough to do that, I'm sorry, but she's well enough to walk around the streets in summer with William. Get to the point about the relationship between these two. Sophie, unfortunately for her, and unfortunately for a pedestrian who was a grandma, was involved in a fatal collision last year. Her motorcade, travelling under blue lights, hit a pedestrian in London, and that pedestrian died. There was no questions from the press about why, as a non-senior royal, she was involved in a blue light convoy. There were, however, some quite serious and well-founded allegations that in the car with Sophie was William. William has also been caught on camera admiring Sophie's ass in public. I mean, I'm not being funny. She looks bloody great for 60. Her figure is cracking. I'm sure her butt is off the scale good. She's got the time, money, and resources to look after herself, right? It's odd. It doesn't add up. Where's Kate? Why can't the royal family stop using deception and deflection and start using some clarity? Well, we know the answer. Clarity would end their business. Comments are open as ever. Have a brilliant Saturday. Let me know what you think.
So, again, this is all alleged. I'm willing to guess that it may not have even been Sophie in that car at all. And I don't feel bad doubting what they say, because the royal family, if nothing else, they are full of inconsistencies. They seem to not have a coherent explanation for just about anything these days. It is, I don't know. It's catch as catch can. Is that how they say it? I think that's how Mrs. Hughes said it on Downton Abbey. It appears to be catch as catch can. In other words, whatever seems to come bubbling up out of the creek, that's what you're having for dinner. Oh, I just put on a lidocaine patch. You know what, guys? Not to drift away from the topic, but apparently when I had my little fall, yes, I did pull my hamstring, and that is completely normal now, but I think I hurt my back. Yeah, I think I hurt my back. So doctor gave me some lidocaine patches, and I've never used them before, but I'll let you know. So yeah, it is a mystery. Rehab, huh? Rehab. Well, anyway, again, this is all hypothetical. It is what was the other one I said? It's alleged. We just don't know. I mean, yeah, they have been rather friendly toward each other. And it seems like her creepy husband, Edwina, has been pushed to the margins. We just don't see Eddie that much these days. Doesn't mean he's not there. It's just, boring people are invisible, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to think. But there's definitely a plot. But then, you know what, guys? Think of it like this. It may be nothing nefarious happening, Look at how much time Sophie spent with Queen Elizabeth working on whatever it is she wanted from Queen Elizabeth. Now, there is a very powerful alpha female that is not going to allow that nonsense with Charles III. Not to mention, Charles is a bit of a loner and could not be bothered with her anyway. But we all know that Godzilla is not having any of that, right? You ain't gonna get close to Charles like that. You're not gonna kiss up to him. She has children that need things when Charles is gone. So you're not getting close to Charles. So if you can't get next to Charles, go after the dim-witted son who likes nothing better than a bunch of compliments for accomplishments that he's never made in the first place. That just makes sense. Cozy up to him. So even if they shared a vehicle together, I don't suspect that there's anything in particular going on. That whole idea that, oh, she's, I just had a thought. I just had a thought. No. Okay. I'm going to have to speak in codes and riddles. If you know, you know. They used to say Sophie looked a lot like somebody else in the royal family. Remember they used to say that? That she bared some resemblance to someone else when she first came on the scene? Are you with me so far? So you know that the royal rota, the courtiers, they like to project. They like to project the story onto an innocent person. And there has been all of this projection about Harry and his attractions to the opposite sex and the qualities that makes him attracted to the opposite sex. Well, maybe it's not Harry that has an issue. Are you with me so far? Okay, Marshall is picking up what I'm putting down. Maybe it's not Harry that has the issue. Maybe it's his dim-witted brother. Yeah, maybe it's the brother who has blurred the lines. Okay, enough said. If you know, you know. Enough said. Maybe they were projecting. Ugh. 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 Oh well. Anyway, all of it is gross, so I'm just going to leave it there. But like I said, I don't suspect there's anything going on. I just think there's a very ambitious person who failed as a PR person, who married someone who is not there for her, that almost didn't get to become a duchess, was tortured with that duchess title dangling in front of her face for way too long. And so whenever there's an opportunity, she seizes upon that opportunity. And so when she had the chance to go to the church Sunday with Queen Elizabeth, she took it. And now there's someone who is looking for praise and admiration and all that kind of stuff. And that's William. William is a soft target. William is a soft target, which is why he's going to make a horrible king. If you think that his father is vulnerable to suggestion, wait until William gets the top job. And I'm going to show you someone indecisive, foolish, petty, childish. William. Oh, well. Interesting scenario. And you know what? It's not the first time that Martin of whatever that, what is it? Ministry of Hacks. It's not the first time. Back in, I think it was January the 25th. That's when I took that screenshot on the left. There they are again, headed into Westminster Abbey or whatever it was. Let me see. Her arms are not covered. Maybe it's not Westminster Abbey. I don't know where they're going, but they're going to something. William has big plans for Sophie. Let's explore the controversy. Right? William has big plans for Sophie. Let us explore the controversy. Oh, okay. Prince William has big plans for Prince Edward and Duchess Sophie's kids. That was the In Style magazine back in January of 2025. I don't know if that's related to that headline right there. But yeah, whatever Sophie has been up to, she's been up to it for a while. And probably, I mean, it would make sense because after Charles and Godzilla, this slimmed down monarchy, when it gets down to just William and Kate, right? There will be no more Fab Four unless they can get Sophie and Edward to take some more of the higher profile engagements. We all know that Afro Annie is winding down. With her various injuries, I don't see that she's going to be as capable as she has been in the past. So yeah, I don't think Afro Annie is going to be as available as she has been in the past. So yeah, they're going to have to do some maneuvering, and it would just make sense that Sophie and her kids step up, because I don't think it's going to be the York sisters. I don't think it's going to be them. Although, as king, he will have the right to, command their presence whenever needed. So I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I don't think you'll be able to depend on Afro Annie, because and plus she may renew that contract she had with the cigarette company. Remember, back in the 1970s, she was doing those ads for Newports. She might become their spokesperson again. And, come back with the retro clothing and everything. She still got the clothes. So I don't see why she wouldn't go back and build her relationship with Newports again. I'm just saying, I'm really grasping at straws right now. Yeah, so, and then look at this. So Henry VIII says, this was a really weird moment this year. Sophie in Kate's tiara with the band still brown and everything. Now, how she noticed that, I will never know. But to show you how brilliant Henry VIII is, did you know that the cushion that is attached to the tiara is actually covered with velvet that matches your hair color? So Goldilocks would have had something that looked more complementary to her blonde hair, like a gold, velvet cushion on the inner part of the tiara, right? But she doesn't have gold. She still has the brown. And the brown really stands out because you and I both know that that brown cushion inside of that tiara was meant for Kate with her dark hair. That's Kate's tiara. And as I've said on several occasions, when you are assigned a tiara, it is on permanent loan to you. But yet someone within the royal family has blocked Kate from wearing tiaras. And even on this occasion, Kate was unavailable for whatever reason. She was unavailable. And that not racist family always pulls out the lotus tiara, which is what she has on. They always pull out the lotus tiara when they are entertaining someone from Asia, right? Because they're not racist. And of course, they wouldn't go out of their way to try to find little things to identify with the people that show up. So rather than, saying things that Prince Philip would say, that would be too offensive. They say, oh, do we have anything with a theme around here? Oh, the lotus tiara. So, of course, she wore the lotus tiara. Kate, again, was unavailable. That is Kate's tiara all day long. And yet, they assigned it to Sophie. There are so many tiaras in the collection. There's so many jewels that have not seen the light of day for 50, 60, 70 years. They didn't just have to use that one, but it seems as though it was done out of spite. Yeah, they want Harry back desperately. And you know what, guys? Don't be surprised if there has been some negotiation going on behind the scenes, whatever they say. However, one could doubt that simply because the Sussexes are living their best lives and they just don't seem to care anymore. Within reason. They're not holding back as much as they have been for the past 4 or 5 years. Right? They're doing things on their own in their own way. So, Okay, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but yeah, they, you know, guys, it's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know what's coming next. I really don't. Um, I could only guess what's happening behind the scenes, but Martin really threw me for a loop with that one when he suggests that there may have been someone else in the car. But was it someone else and Sophie? Was it someone else instead of Sophie? Oh Lord. Okay, let me get back over here. I haven't watched it in 2 days, I think. And then you guys take a look here. There is poor, down in the mouth, downtrodden, pitiful, tired, worn out Sophie walking in Kate's shadow. And I would think that Sophie, realizing that that is what's happening for the rest of her life, is that she's going to walk in Kate's shadow. She is destined to be a doormat for Kate. Look at her. She looks pitiful. She looks sad. She's walking with her head down. That is not very regal. That is not how a duchess conducts themselves at a state dinner. And then there's this one. Take a look on the left side there. The camera doesn't lie. The camera just happens to capture Sophie glaring, sad, looking at Kate, the center of attention. She's not that bright. She can't even talk. And yet she's going to be the queen consort. And Kate is destined to walk in her shadow. She may as well be a lady in waiting. When she eats, it's because she's eating from the king's table. She's accepting money from the king. That's not who she was. She was a business owner, and a pretty bad one at that. But Kate, you know, she's never earned a living. She had a summer job, and that was about it. But she was conditioned, bred, conditioned, intellectualized to just marry money, to marry privilege. But Sophie had a career. And here this former career woman who ran her PR firm into the ground is walking in Kate's shadow. I wonder how she feels. And by the way, you guys, I don't feel bad speculating about how Sophie feels because nobody cares whether it is true or not when they suggest how Meghan feels. They have spent years telling us what Meghan thinks, what Meghan feels, what Meghan hasn't done, but they swear she did. So I don't feel guilty about speculating about the other members of that family, making suggestions about why they looked a certain way, why they are wearing this or that. I feel duty bound since, well, if it's good enough for Meghan, it's good enough for them, right? But these images are haunting to me because I see someone who has pretty much mortgaged their soul in the name of privilege. In the name of privilege, she has mortgaged her soul, and she doesn't even earn her own money. She may as well be in council housing. She may as well collect food benefits. And the clothing allowance, well, you can see that only goes so far. You can see the clothing allowance only goes so far. Like as far as the next thrift store, the car boot sale, the resale shop. The clothing allowance don't get her that far. But borrowed jewelry, handed out titles, married to Queen Elizabeth's youngest son, set up in a house with a lease for like 1,000 years or 100 years, whatever it is. That's what's become of Sophie. What's it all about, Sophie? Is it just for the woman you were? And you'll never be worth a dime, Sophie. And if only you could find money, you could wear something nice like Kate. What's it all about when you think it out, Sophie? Oh, well, you know what, guys? Don't underestimate Sophie. Sophie might be working some deals behind the scenes that we know nothing about. Lord knows she's got, like I said, William is a very light touch. All you have to do is praise him for stuff that he's never done and never will do, and you can get whatever you want out of him. Yep. And if only fools are kind, Sophie, you might find yourself another dime. What's it all about when you work it out, Sophie? What's it all about, Sophie? Now, take a look here. Sophie Wessex News. Countess shows she's ready to take over for Meghan Markle and Harry. Yes, that was a revelation way back when. She was going to be the new Harry and Meghan. That's right. Don't be fooled by her hair pulled back in that ponytail or pigtail like Heidi. Don't be fooled by that. She is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, after all, she single-handedly ran her PR firm into the ground. She single-handedly ended her husband's production career. I'm just kidding. He's responsible for that. But, and then there's some other things that are just too tasteless. I can't even say it, but she's not having an easy time of it, Sophie. It's been one disaster after another. So there's nothing else for her to do but cozy up to William. And you know what? I don't have it handy, but do you remember when they were on the balcony? And I forget what the occasion was, but there were only two people left on the balcony. And that was William and Sophie. And then what about when they had that, it was a state visit and Kate was nowhere around, and who was standing there laughing and pretending all of William's jokes were funny? Sophie. There have been more than just a handful of occasions where Sophie has been cozying up to the future king. And Kate, nowhere in sight. Yep, Kate. No, where is Kate? Where is she? And of course, one of the reasons why I don't care for Sophie, reason number one, glaring at Meghan at the Trooping the Colors back in 2020. Number two, glaring at Meghan at the Queen's funeral. Number three, glaring at Meghan again after that memorial service they had at the St. George Chapel just before they put the Queen in the storm shelter. She seems to have it in for Meghan, doesn't she? Or it might be because she's such a lovely person. Not. I've seen mugs like that on a scarecrow. Pure vile hatred towards the people they serve. BS. Anyway, that's a quote from one of the squaddies, little typo there. Pure vile hatred toward the people they serve. BS. But yeah, she seems to be very angry. There's something that has her so furious with Meghan. Now, I don't want to have to drag out that x-ray again, but oh, what the hell? Let me go and find it. That is, I think, one of the reasons why she has it in for Meghan, is because Meghan is royal through and through. Sophie, not so much. Sophie is kind of built like a trucker, right? She's built like someone who's meant to drive a lorry. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see. Sophie. I really shouldn't. Why do I drag this thing out all the time? Why do I do it? Oh, you know what? She might be lucky because I can't find it today. This might be her lucky day because I don't see it. Oh, well. Okay, so she got lucky this time. Or did she? You know me, I don't give up easy. Wessex. Okay, Wessex, where are you hiding? Oh, there she is. There she is. Okay, I knew I'd find it. I knew I'd find it. Hold on. So you guys, it really comes down to well, let me see here. I'll show you. There it is right there. Now, on the one hand, you'll notice that Meghan has that ramrod straight, superior, very regal stance, right? There's Meghan, straight as an emery board. I mean, from head to toe, everything is in proper proportion. And then there's matron Mama Sophie, looking like like she runs a women's correctional facility. with that very boxy, dumpy, misshapen, misproportioned. Maybe she should do yoga like Meghan. Whatever it is. And listen, you guys, I cannot tell you where I got these x-rays from. I can never but don't worry about where I got it from. I got them, okay? But maybe that's the root of this hostility, is that Meghan just looks like a princess. She looks like a queen, a duchess, someone who was meant to be in aristocratic circles, compared to, Sophie, who seems like she ought to turn the beds down at the Holiday Inn, right? Just an observation. That's all, just an observation. Meghan is regal, splendid. She has that aura, right? Very light on her feet and everything. And then here comes Sophie stomping in there. So that's all. That's all. I'm just saying. Even skin deep, if you want to go deeper than that, there was one woman destined to be a royal princess. And there's another who is destined to clean the rooms down at the Holiday Inn, down at the Motel 6. And we all know who's who. So that's all. Poor Sophie. Where does she fit in? I don't know. But she's here and we're forced to deal with her. Yeah, since she's here, we have to treat her as humanely as possible. Okay, so there you go. Now, this is very touching. Exclusive. Fresh royal feud erupts as heir Prince William is running secret diary while he waits for King Charles to die. Zandy Sussex says even a blind man can see that Willie and Kate Macbeth are impatiently waiting for King Charles to die. I may not be a fan of Pa, but I hope he lives to be 110. He better post a guard at his bedroom door and employ a food taster while he's at it. Yeah. If there's anything to be said about karma, we all know how Charles treated his mother on the way out, not following any of her directives, swapping her loyal courtiers and replacing them with someone that he wanted here and there, leaving the queen pretty much stripped of her powers. Charles was running the show. And then, of course, there was an article written by Camilla Tominey, and that article was referenced in the by Tom Sykes in the Daily Beast. It says King Charles would die with not of cancer, a bombshell report claimed Saturday. The report essentially confirms long-standing rumors that the king's cancer is considered manageable, but ultimately incurable, which is the case for many older individuals afflicted by the disease. A report will be unwelcome in the palace. The report will be unwelcome in the palace as it will reunite speculation that the king's health is in a delicate state, rumors that were brought to fever pitch when Prince Harry said in his recent BBC interview that he didn't know how long his father had left to live. Charles' aides have constantly briefed reporters that he is, broadly speaking, winning his battle against cancer, and the king himself recently said he was on the other side of the health crisis. The king is back and essentially running a full diary after being diagnosed with cancer last year, albeit with some modifications. So I'm not sure what that means. I am not sure what to make of that. What are they saying? Why this article at this time? Is this like a deliberate ruse from Buckingham Palace to get William to back off, to try to discourage him from assuming he's going to be king anytime soon? What is the point of it? The report by respected royal, Anyway, the report by royal writer and associate editor of the UK Daily Telegraph, Camilla, I hate to say that name, Big Head Camilla Tominey, who claimed that Charles will never move into Buckingham Palace due to his health struggles. The talk now is that he may die with cancer, but not of cancer following a rigorous treatment program, she wrote. A spokesperson for the king declined to comment. Tominey, who was first to break the news about Prince Harry and Meghan dating, and also about the letters row with Kate Middleton, the letters row? Or the latter's row? The latter's row. What am I saying? The latter's row. Anyway, the report added that planning for Charles' 80th birthday in 2028, while very tentative, is going ahead. Camilla Tominey claimed that Charles and Harry could be publicly reunited at the Invictus Games. What do you think of that? At the Invictus Games in Birmingham in 2027, with palace aides quietly investigating whether the event could provide a suitable backdrop for a long-awaited reconciliation. It is understood officials hope any reconciliation would include Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. In other words, they're going to try to use the kids. They want those kids as bargaining chips. The palace will reconcile only if Charles can take some photos with Archie and Lily. That's what it sounds like to me. You bring those kids, we'll take some pictures, and then there will be a reconciliation. That's what it sounds like to me. Tominey also claimed that, it is understood officials hope any reconciliation would include Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. The king last saw the children in 2022. Harry has said he can't bring his family safely to the United Kingdom and hinted some powerful palace figures want him dead. Well, okay. What else do we have here? Intriguingly, Tominey suggests that the reconciliation might be considered because of the negative impact the narrative of estrangement is having on the king's reputation. She writes, there is an awareness that the impasse cannot continue forever, not least if it starts to reflect badly on the king. Prince Harry said in a bitter interview with the BBC following a comprehensive legal defeat on his security arrangements that he does not know how long his cancer-hit father has left to live, and the king won't speak to him. Harry said he won't bring his family. He added, some members of the family will never forgive me. Okay, I don't want to get into all the revisionist stuff. But yeah, that's the whole meat of it, is that they suspect that there might be some kind of reconciliation at the Invictus Games. You know what? If there is a reconciliation, the only reason why that would happen, actually, I'm going to give you two reasons. One of the reasons is that Charles can be photographed with those children, and that will make him seem like the bigger person. The other reason is that it's easy to ignore the military when the games are held in another country. But if the games are taking place in the UK and you still refuse to acknowledge the veterans and the injured, sick, wounded soldiers on your own at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital location. I mean, it's in Birmingham, right? So you got the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, where a lot of veterans go for treatment, right there in the city. And I believe they have some kind of rehabilitation center there, right? And the Invictus Games is going to take place at their convention center or whatever it is. All of that, it would seem very strange if Charles refuses to participate or greet Harry in any way. So there's 2 points of pressure there. The pressure to acknowledge his grandchildren, because that has gotten way out of hand, and also to acknowledge the athletes, the competitors, the British military people, which thus far they have done a terrible job. They've done a terrible job where the British military is concerned. So it would be to their advantage to try to make nice in 2027, which is going to be here before you know it. It's going to come up fast. So they got some thinking to do. How do you want to appear in 2027? But if Harry is able to get anything that he wants from his father, I'm afraid it'll be a very high price to pay in terms of their privacy. It's going to be a very high price to pay. And as someone in the spaces on the Twitter, one of the Sussex Squad members made a very strong point, and that is the reason they keep taking these polls is because it's one thing that they're sharing the poll results for whatever nonsense they're polling for. But if they have anything in common with, let's say, a presidential White House, the staff is doing their own internal polling. And they're probably doing polls about Charles and his grandkids. Charles not seeing his grandkids. Charles not reconciling his relationship with his son. They may be doing some polls and asking some real questions, not who do you like, but how do you feel about Charles and his behavior toward his son, toward his grandchildren. Maybe they're asking some very pointed questions that, if they were ever exposed, meaning that if there was ever a big headline that was not in favor of Charles and Godzilla or the institution, that maybe it would further damage their popularity. Because let's be honest about the impact that the Sussexes have had on the royal family. We've all know what the impact that they have caused toward the Sussexes, but for the royal family to have been blatantly called out as racist in front of the entire world is something that they've never had to face. I mean, there's been a whisper of it here, a column about it there, but having the Sussexes driven out of the country actually puts a face on it. It's not the odd joke from Philip. It is not the Queen referring to someone as a gorilla. This is actual treatment over time against a member of the family who happens to be of African descent. And a commonwealth that is mostly Black and brown people. So we know that Charles doesn't care about the Commonwealth, but he does care about his image. And I believe that when he's gone, he may want to be remembered in a way that is complimentary. And what better way to go out of this world in a blaze of glory than embracing your entire family? There's a lot of negatives, and maybe nobody calls him out on it. Maybe no one actually gives him the truth about his position in this world, how he's viewed by people. Maybe he doesn't know. And probably he doesn't want to know. But it will make a difference, because when he's dead and buried, someone is going to tell the story. Someone is going to tell the story. And William will fight for Kate's honor, but I don't think he's going to fight for his father. I don't think he's going to defend his father's memory. He hasn't done it thus far. He has somewhat embraced Camilla for the sake of appearances, but he also refused to bow to Camilla on Coronation Day. He omitted Camilla from his coronation speech at the concert. And then, of course, that brings me to Camilla. Camilla has gotten away with things because of all the favors that she's called in with the press, with her leaking and briefing. But she cannot leak and brief from the grave. And those two, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see them get what they have coming in terms of, their persona on film in a docudrama or whatever. But I hope we do. I hope that somebody will finally tell the story. I want them to mention them with the same negativity and hostility the way they spoke about the Duke of Windsor and Wallace Simpson. I would love to see them become the cautionary tale. Well, let's hope not, because if those kids are brought over there, I believe that they will try to use them. They will try to use the presence of those children in the UK. They will. They will try to use them. Just like Charles used Doria on the wedding day to make himself seem a bigger person. Um, you know, the one person who doesn't mind going there is making too much money trashing Meghan. And that is um what's that guy's name? Um oh gosh, Campbell. Um um the Campbell lady person, the non-binary divorced, you know who I'm talking about. Colin Campbell. That's the one that said that the Queen Mother was illegitimate, right? That is the one who exposed Queen Elizabeth's actual illness that caused her death. She has a big mouth. And when she went after the royals, she used to really go after them, right? She didn't spare anybody's feelings. But right now, she seems to be on a one-track thing with the Sussexes, when the rest of the family, I promise you, they're so much more interesting. They are so much more interesting. If these tabloids really want to make some crazy money, they need to trash that family. There's so much there. Even if it was just speculation. In other words, even if they just lie like they do with the Sussexes, people will believe them and imagine how much money they would make. I mean, it's like Caligula. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. The whole thing is so wild. The whole tale, the whole story. I mean, The Crown was very interesting the first couple of seasons. Very interesting. Then it went south because they were trying to help Charles and Camilla build a reputation. Now, they had already canonized the Queen as a saint. Got it. They made excuses for everybody except for, a few people. Got it. But the real story is so much more compelling. And they just won't do it. They just won't do it. Now, I don't know if the invisible contract is a written document, but I know William took a settlement, which means that something was signed for him. And did Charles ever sue? Does he have a settlement? But they call it the invisible contract. So bring it on. Bring it on. Thank you, Angela May. Now, what the hell? Zandy Sussex said, if it's true that Charles will die of old age before his cancer kills him, then this will be a very sad news indeed for Willie and Kate Macbeth. You've been actively counting their chickens before they hatched. I'm sorry, who've been counting their chickens before they hatch. Now take a look at that crap on the right side there. She got one, and this is a quote from one of the squatties, but I don't know her so well, so I didn't put her name up there. She got on her knees in daylight, cameras flashing for a man born into privilege while the public foots the bill. There are sex workers with more pride, or as I would like to say, with more dignity. Yes, there are streetwalkers that have more dignity than Sophie has in that pathetic, what do they call it? Prostating herself. That is absolutely pathetic. Pathetic. I know that she's trying to build a future for her children, and she wants something for them. And I believe that something is that the Edinburgh title will be passed on to their son. Because right now, we all know that when Edward dies, that title reverts back to the crown. That title was given to him as a gift because he refused to accept a duke title upon marriage. He remained the Count of Wessex. Sophie remained the Countess of Wessex because he wanted the very admired, very prestigious Duke of Edinburgh title that was created for his father, which I think is very sweet. I think that's very clever. That makes sense for him to wait. And of course, Charles, being as cruel as he is, made the Wessexes wait until his birthday came. He had to wait 1 year and then wait a few months until his birthday came around before he would give them that title that was promised to them on their wedding day. They could have easily have given that title as soon as the Queen died, who of course was the Duchess of Edinburgh, because that was her husband's title. So they didn't want to strip the Queen of the Edinburgh title. So they promised that once Philip died, the title would go to Edward, but they made him wait, which I thought was terrible, but they made him wait. But when they're gone, when Edward's gone, that title goes back to the crown. And in all likelihood, William will probably give that title to his daughter. He'll probably give her the title Duchess of Edinburgh, and it will stay there for the rest of her life, and it will never go back to Edward's family again. You know what, Marcia? That makes sense, though. That really makes sense that they would just retire that title. But any sovereign can, pull that title out whenever they choose. I mean, it's in the gift of the sovereign to give those titles out. So in the future, they can certainly pass it on to whomever they like. That is tacky, though. She need to get up. She need to get up. She only got a few nice. Well, you know what? That's not one of her better outfits. So yeah, I don't care if she ruins it. I don't care if she ruins it. Oh, there's Kate Middleton. You know what? I just asked, where's Kate Middleton? I should have known that she was out in the forest. That's the only place where she finds peace. The only place where Kate can find peace of mind is when she's in the woods, deep in the woods. So don't worry, you guys. We found Kate. Kate is in the forest. She's out there rubbing up against the trees, rolling in the soil, eating figs and twigs, and rooting for mushrooms and berries and stuff. There she is. Oh well, at least we found her, right? We found her before Trooping the Colors. Or is she out there hiding so she doesn't have to go? One more, Zandy. Whipping up the toothless and unwashed against Harry and Meghan will go down as one of the biggest own goals in history. This evil lot thought they could unleash the worst racism and misogyny and walk away unscathed. Instead, they will be forever defined by their evil acts. Yeah, I think toward the end, they're going to try to clean up their images, especially the two up at the top. They're going to try to clean up their images. But I'm telling you guys, at some point, the entire story is going to be told. And we may not see it in our lifetime, but there's so much there. And if somebody really wants to, make some money, have a successful docuseries or whatever, they can just tell the story as it is instead of making up stuff. There's plenty of material there. The Fresh Prince of Montecito. There he is, the Fresh Prince of Montecito. It says here, Graham Smith says, I don't hold a candle for any royal, of course, but it's extraordinary to watch the continued obsession of the right-wing press with Harry and Meghan. It deserves some serious psychological analysis. Now, that is coming from someone whose goal in life is to end the monarchy, to get rid of them, to drive them out of power forever. And yet, it disturbs him how nasty and ruthless the tabloid media has been toward the Sussexes. Now, there's an article, I haven't read the article, but it says, take it from me, Harry, it's too late to change your surname, however much you want to. And that is in the Telegraph. But I haven't read that one, but I don't know. I figure it's probably just a bunch of nonsense. The idea of a name change, I guess, is good for clicks and money or whatever. So they have been trying to make as much out of it as possible. The People's Duchess Charles has made it that on Edward's death, the title returns to the crown. It's not a hereditary title. Yes, it goes back to the crown. As soon as Edward's gone, it reverts to the crown. And what is his name? Viscount Severin. I guess he becomes the Count of Wessex in the future, but he won't be a duke. He's not likely to be a duke. But who knows? If he decides to go into royal service upon marriage, I mean, it is possible that William can bestow some dukedom on him. I mean, it would be out of tradition. I think it would go against the royal patent of George V, but by law, if if you follow the law and not tradition, I mean, really, they can throw that dukedom to any of those royals if they choose to, right? Oh, the Earl of yes, that's it, the Earl of Wessex, right? Thank you. Okay. Graham Smith wasn't done yet. The exploration of young kids for royal PR is shameful. The video, it's like they gave those kids, um, they were so loud and screaming and waving those flags. You know how those old vintage movies, how everybody's moving real fast because there's fewer frames per second, and the people seem to be walking at some exhaustive pace or waving like their arm is going to become unhinged. That's how those kids were waving, like they were on a Nutella drip, like they intravenously fed those kids Nutella and then gave them Mountain Dew to get them as hyped up as possible so that people could think that they were really excited to see the Royals. Yeah, those poor kids. Trooping the Color protest. Don't forget the 14th of June, the Mall at 8:30 a.m. They will be there with those yellow and black placards declaring, "Not my king, down with the crown." And I think there's another one that they use. But yeah, they are going to unleash hell on the Troop in the Color Day. And who knows, maybe they'll get a record crowd this year. So look forward to that. Troop in the Color. They will be there. What was it, a week from this Saturday? Week from last Saturday? Yesterday? And breaking news, local Republic activists in Hexham have told Camilla that it's time to abolish the monarchy. Camilla had an outing for something, and as you can see, there's only a handful of protesters, but they were there. They were there. And she was heckled. So much so that as soon as she got home, she had to get herself a drink. She had to go and get herself a drink. She had to go and get loaded because her feelings were hurt. I don't see why. I mean, did somebody hold up a mirror? Why was her feelings hurt? But yeah, they kind of hurt her feelings. Let's see. Wait, where is she at again? Yes, that's the one I'm looking for. That is the one that I'm looking for. Yep, poor Camilla. She had to go and tie one on. Yeah, after after being heckled by the public, she was a little worse for wear. Yeah, poor Camilla. She doesn't get along with anybody, does she? Yep, she doesn't get along with anyone. Nothing like a boozy old broad. Okay, and last but not least, at this point, I am done, you guys. Wait, where is she at? Oh, there you go. There you go. The whole shock of it. This was the look Camilla had on her face when she saw that crowd was booing her. She was utterly shocked. And boy, did she let out a horrible scream. The kind of scream that would cut through the fog. It sounded something like this. There you go. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I had a lot of fun, and as usual, we had a chance to dress down some of those unnecessary royals with all of their unnecessary hostility and hatred. I will see you all tomorrow. And thank you, moderators, as usual, for keeping this a safe space. I'm going to go through the comment section tonight to permanently rid us of some of those trolls that seem to have it in for the Disney trip. And of course, but anyway, the moderators have been on top of it. So thank you very much. And I did go in there and permanently rid us of some of those nasty people. Yeah, they have been particularly mean lately. Yes, I I know what you mean. That the mouth and everything, right? Let me see if I can find that. I'll share it. The creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh man, let me find a good one. Let me find a good one. I like this one. I like this one. I'll share this one. Yeah, I think I like that one. Okay, coming up, coming up. There you go. There you go. Oh man. Yeah, spot on, spot on. Thank you very much, Marshar. That's a good one. Thank you, Cookies and Cream. Okay, I'll have that for you next time, the side by side. All right, cheers. I will see y'all next time. Love you guys. Good night or good morning.